All right, are you back from Panama? All right, well, let's talk about this. Okay, so we found out that Panama, if you look on the map, Panama is kind of like right here, a little long, skinny country. It's got the canal, right? And you got Colombia, and then Venezuela's right here. Venezuela's in South America, and Panama's kind of in between. But they're pretty close neighbors. So that's why Panama is worried about this situation, because if you've been paying attention to the news over the past 15, 20 years. Venezuela hasn't exactly been a stable country, and it's been kind of a mess due to politics and all kinds of things. But recently they finally had an election, like a real election maybe. But the two candidates are now claiming that each one won. Candidate A saying, no, I won. Candidate B says, no, I won. And the claim is that candidate A is supported by the election overseers. Oh. So candidate B is saying they are on his side and they're falsifying vote numbers and everything, and actually I won.
Right.
So it's causing a huge mess. And, Panama is hoping that the other countries in the area can get involved and maybe figure this out. And they're also asking for the U.S. to possibly get involved in this because, U.S. is not too far from Latin America. And hopefully they can, come to some agreement and figure this out before the country goes into another round of chaos, I guess. So that's what's going on in Latin America. Oh.
Well, a contested election, it does sound a little bit familiar,
It does.
Two candidates both claiming victory, one claiming electoral fraud. Where have I heard that before?
From the recent past and probably in the near future.
Terrifying.
All right. So back to the topic of international summits. How do you think international summits can help resolve political conflicts, like in this situation?
Well, I guess it's just a summit. So, it's just for discussion. It's not like a UN Council resolution, or it's not some nations trying to force another nation to do what they want or to follow their opinions. It's just a discussion of ideas, Maybe they could share ideas with Venezuela about what to do, and then leave the Venezuelans to make the final decision on what they want to do about the outcome. I like the idea of it being more of a discussion rather than an imposition. But again, if enough countries, even if they just ask you nicely to overturn the result of your election or rehold elections, how far is that kind of forcing them to do that? I don't know. Do you think at the summit it's more of a sort of discussion, or is it more of a you must do what we say?
I think it's going to be more of a discussion, but I think the kind of the underlying idea is that maybe if you get a big country like U.S., then maybe it'll put a little bit more pressure. That maybe that's what they're hoping for too. I'm not sure. I don't know, we'll see.
Oh, I'm so glad this isn't happening near the UK. Don't ask us, we don't want to come.
So we talked about countries interfering in democracy, but what about election disputes? Do you think other countries should get involved when there are disputes over elections?
I just tried to imagine if a few years ago when Trump was claiming, there was election fraud and he rightfully won and Biden wasn't the real president. What if he'd gone to Canada and Mexico and said, could you please pressure the American people to overturn the results of this election? That probably wouldn't have been a good idea, And if it happened in the UK, if we had a contested election and then the complaining party went to Germany, France, Italy, Spain and said, can you please pressure the British people to overturn this result? I don't think I would like that, no. We got to do it ourselves, ultimately.
Okay. I think that's a good answer. Not to mention that, Europe wasn't exactly happy with the UK. And Mexico's not exactly happy with Trump.
Exactly. I think, if they could have pressured us to stay in the European Union, and actually, I wish they had, because I was a Remain voter, but ultimately, I don't think you can do that. It feels somehow wrong. Yeah, got to accept defeat sometimes. In the spirit of fair play, you got to
That's
accept
life.
defeat.
You know, just go try again. I don't know.
Yes, maybe one day we'll get to vote again on that issue.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Mm.
All right. Well, that's the story from Panama. So why don't you take a look at the vocab? We got a lot of vocabulary related to elections and things. So that's a good one for the U.S. election coming up. And if you got any comments about this, leave it down below.
And hopefully we'll get to see you in the next one. I wonder if next month we'll get an article on the US election or the run-up to the US election.
Probably.
Come back for that.
All right. See you next time.
Contest.
Contest.
Instruct.
Instruct.
Statement.
Statement.
Garner.
Garner.
Asylum.
Asylum.